All right, we're at Precept 12. This is my favorite. Everything that we've been studying, all your practices, have been leading to this point where something of a revelation occurs. It's when we begin to see the big picture. We begin to realize that we're part of a bigger play unfolding, and that in fact we live in an auspicious time in the history of the world. In fact, you are at the leading edge of the biggest movement that has ever occurred in the history of mankind. I've been a student of history my whole life and written many books, as you probably know. And the one thing that I've learned is humans go through different stages of development. You've probably experienced this in your own life as well. And in studying all these world religions and writing my book, Looking for God, I was really interested in plumbing the depths of the Bible since I was brought up with that book. And even studying the Kabbalah with Rabbi Berg and understanding the fundamental principles behind these teachings. And what was shown to me was that there's actually a prediction we've all heard about that one day we'll all live together in happiness and peace. That humans will learn, they will evolve or become better people somehow. They'll become enlightened, and we will create this heaven on earth again. We'll create a place where mankind lives together in peace, a Zion, a heaven on earth, paradise. Well, how could that come about? According to the Kabbalah, that man has come into his body without really understanding his true nature. Ignorant of his true nature, his divine nature, the term I believe they use is spark of divinity, what we might think of as a spirit, that which animates our existence. But through our life experiences, we learn and grow and develop a greater wisdom and appreciation and beauty for life. And we're called by God. There's an inner calling, something drawing us back home. And this is what's happening with you now. You've come home. Welcome home. And that man will enlighten, and he will recognize the light in each other, and they will live together in happiness and peace. Now, when I learned this is with Rabbi Philip S. Berg from the Research Center for Kabbalah, who's a very orthodox rabbi, interpreting the meaning of man's fall from grace and the meaning of heaven on earth. And he's saying that we live in this age, that in fact there are these different cycles that have been known. Not only that the earth revolves around the sun or that the earth spins in a cycle creating day and night, but also that there's a wobble to the earth itself. And that wobble happens to move the opposite direction as the spinning. And so if you were to take a pointing stick and drive it through the center of the earth from the south pole, so the stick comes out the north pole, like a globe, the old-fashioned way. The pointing stick is moving through different constellations in the northern hemisphere. And that wobble, or that movement of the earth, was noted by the ancients, by the Sumerians, by the Egyptians, by the Hindu culture, the Indus Valley culture, the Harappan culture, the Chinese culture, the Mayans in Latin America, as well as numerous North American nations. They looked up in the heavens. They lived more with nature, and they looked up and they saw different images. They kind of connected the dots, which are the stars above, and they saw images. It might be the two fish swimming opposite directions, like Pisces, or the man holding the pitcher of water, which we call Aquarius, or Aries the ram. So they drew pictures in their mind and kind of divided the constellation into 12 pieces, and noticed that the movement of the earth in this wobble, what they call the precession of the equinox, lasts around 26,000 years, which if you divided up the sky in roughly equal parts, it'd be around 2,100 years. And it was about 2,100 years ago that we were entering into Pisces, and that was the advent of Christ's teachings. And now we are coming into what's known as the age of Aquarius. And this is believed biblically to be the age where this inner knowing will awaken within mankind, and that man will learn how to live together in happiness and peace. And the fact that Israel is a state now is another sign of the fulfillment of prophecy. If you go to the Old Testament, you see that that was promised to Abraham and his descendants. And there is a statehood. There's still conflict, but there's statehood. And I'd like to bless all the Palestinians. But let us look bigger than our individual needs and the religious sects that we belong to, and realize that the Enlightenment itself is when we recognize that there really aren't these divisions. There isn't the Jew and the Christian and the Muslim and the atheist and the Buddhist and this. We're all sons and daughters of the same Creator. And we begin to recognize this light in each other. That's what enlightenment is. We're not creating divisions and defensiveness and disagreement and discord. We're coming into harmony. We're working together as a whole, like a beehive or a tribe or hopefully a nation or ideally a world. And so you are part of this small but rapidly growing segment of the population that's creating the critical mass for this enlightenment, the second coming of Christ's word. So now we can look at the Kabbalah, and we can look at the Jewish tradition, and we see biblically that it is believed that we are now living in the age where Zion can be created. We're living the age of enlightenment. We also see through the Christian text, it's not always obvious to everyone, but Jesus himself used to tell us not only that the kingdom of heaven lies within, but he says in the Gospel of Thomas, when asked about the kingdom, he says, the kingdom won't come by waiting for it. You cannot say that it is over here or over there. For the kingdom of the Father is spread out before man, but he sees it not. So he's saying, look, the kingdom of heaven is right here on earth. It's not a thing that happens one day per se. It's here, but man doesn't see it. So he's brought the word. And what was the word? To look within, to know yourself. He asks James, he asks Philip, he asks Thomas to inquire into their own nature. He tells us that this kingdom that we seek is within ourselves. It's not a physical outer thing. It's a relationship. It's a connection in consciousness that brings this awareness into your living. So you create the kingdom on earth. And so Christ's word has come a second time. And what has been dug out? We have the Nag Hammadi library. We have the Dead Sea Scrolls that tell us the life of the Essenes, that we're the only Jewish sect that did baptisms. We know John the Baptist was an Essene from Qumran, where the Jordan River meets the Dead Sea, and there's room to immerse yourself in a baptism as a rite of purification. Only the Essenes were doing this, and they believed in the coming of their teacher, their Messiah, and that there was another world awaiting. And they believed that this age of Aquarius, would be the age where man would finally enlighten and we would create heaven on earth. And very few people know this or realize this. And then we can go into the Muslim culture. There's the belief in the Mahdi. Again, the whole idea of Islam is to surrender your will to God's will. And when we're all on the same page, as it were, we will all be brothers together, regardless of what country or culture or color. And so, of course, all the religions approach this in different ways. You can go to Buddhism, and the wheel of the Bodhidharma is 2,500 years. Buddha lived 500 years before Christ. So that wheel has turned a full turn. And now all over the world, people are meditating, practicing mindfulness. Millions, more than at any other time in the history of the world. We look at Hinduism. They have what are called yugas. They look at time in terms of this precession of the equinox again. And we see that we've been living in this age of darkness, what they call the Kali Yuga. And now we're beginning to shift out of that. There's both a silver and a golden age, a Krita and or Satya Yuga, an age of enlightenment. But now we have entered this shift. And we see this enlightenment. We see it in terms of how the Eastern culture has influenced the West, and the West has influenced the East, and there's an amalgamation, a joining together, almost like the yin and yang. as well as the joining of the material and the spiritual. There's more people enlightening. Look at the growth of yoga all over the world, in every major city. I started teaching yoga in the early 70s. Very few people were practicing yoga. Now there's a yoga center in every major city in the world. So we're seeing the signs of the change. We're also seeing the signs in terms of the wars. We're seeing the two biblical centers. Baghdad is Babylon, where Abraham came from, where the Sumerian culture, our origins, are very first to write in cuneiform, the first language, first chariots, first pottery, supposedly all from Samaria, the first story of creation, and how we were created by the angels or Anunnaki to serve God. And then this came through the Bible the same way, pretty much the same teaching came through, and it came through into the Egyptians as well. And again, through the Harappan culture of India. All of them recognized the procession. If you go to South America, they have the Mayan culture, and we all heard back in 2012 that there was a full cycle of the Mayan calendar. Well, the world didn't end, but it did change. There is a shift happening. People like you are coming to people like me, and all of us is more of an organic growth as opposed to a hierarchy. More of like an inner knowing is beginning to awaken within the collective consciousness of man. We live in the age of prophecy. We live in the age of the rapture. The rapture is realizing God, entering into the kingdom of heaven. It's right here. So again, when the apostles asked Jesus in the Gospel of Thomas, and whether you're a Christian or not, this is just good wisdom. They say, Lord, when will the kingdom come? He says, will not come by waiting for it. It's right here. You cannot say it's over here or over there, for the kingdom of the Father is spread out before man, but he sees it not. They also ask him in the New Testament, he said, when will you come again? He says, a man will greet you bearing a pitcher of water. Well, of course, he's speaking symbolically of the age of Aquarius, the man greeting us with a pitcher of water, and now mysteriously, like coming out of a crypt, like when he came out of the cave after being crucified, the word is coming out of these ancient teachings. It's been translated. Now it's being disseminated into the mass. So they now are gaining a deeper understanding of the meaning of Christ's word. It's not just a matter of going to some place when you die or going down in the middle of the earth if you're dead. Matter of fact, Pope John Paul said in 1999, made it very clear. He said, hell is not a physical place. Hell is when you willfully estrange yourself from God. Your life is hell. It's horrible. And it is. When people are connected with God, there's bliss, there's love, there's joy, there's peace. And to the degree we estrange ourselves or disconnect from the source, there's pain and suffering. And the result of that is wars and poverty and an unconscious world. And His Holiness goes on to say that the book of Revelation figuratively portrays souls being cast into a lake of fire. Well, that's relevant because all of Western civilization has been taking Revelation quite literally, and it's meant to be taken figuratively. We're supposed to understand the point behind it, not that there's actually some physical lake. Well, the Pope himself is making it clear. It's a figurative expression. When you turn away from God, your soul's ripped. You hurt. You're in pain. Don't put yourself through that agony. This grace is being given to you, and Jesus is showing you the way. For others, maybe Buddha inspired them, or another teacher. But the point really isn't the outer teacher. The point is, do you get what they're saying? Do you see that there's something within yourself? Do you see it within yourself? Now, I'm asking you personally. You that are listening to me, do you see it? Do you recognize? Do you acknowledge? Are you willing, ready, and able to acknowledge that light within you that is you? Take a deep breath. So within all the major cultures, we talked about Latin America and the Mayans. You can go back up to the North American nations. And I've had great discussions with Wallace Blackout, as well as which is Lakota Sioux, and other great teachers of the great nations, and they all recognize too, this is a special age. And we're still being visited by angels, avatars, and ETs, all these spacecrafts and things. They're related. They're not separate things. And we are being watched. We live in a universe with many, many different kinds of life forms. And we live in the age where this is all going to be coming to light very soon. And your knowing this ahead of time is putting you in the position of being able to bring this awareness and this light into the world. So I want to invite you to participate, not just by your own spiritual practice or sadhana, but also by sharing what you've learned. And by sharing this work, let people know about the Enlightened Network and the Enlightened course. And maybe host a class at your house and talk about it. Be a part of the movement. Be a part of the change. And the more you get into it, the more you're going to get out of it. And the more the divine is going to fill your life, and you're going to feel so much joy and love and peace. So the time is now. So let's go into a meditation. Everybody, let's start, make sure your eyes are open for a moment and just gaze into my eyes. So the divine energy is passing from my eyes into your eyes. And now close your eyes, roll your eyes up, gaze at the point between your eyebrows. So flick the on switch up to on. Breathe in, feel the energy of the earth, the energy of the universe. Just connect with your breath. As you inhale, feel the energy being accumulated, cycling in your nervous system, cycling in your chi. Imagine the electromagnetic fields around your body. We're just soaking in the hot tub and allowing ourselves to imbibe in the life force energy and allow our mind and body to feel the presence of our own indwelling spirit and enjoy that expression. As we put our attention on the light within us, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. The more open you are to receive, the more you will receive. So breathe in again and open your heart just a little bit more. And as you breathe out, feel that energy expanding out and around you. Again, gentle breath in. And let it be easy, effortless, and enjoyable. From now on, it's just us connecting. Just the thought of connecting even, and the energy is going to open up. Breathe out, and from now on it could be easy, effortless, and enjoyable. So just let go now. Just let go and go into the flow. Just let the feeling be your guide. Follow the feeling down the corridors of your own mind. Let the feeling take you back to the place before thoughts arise. Outside of all differentiation. Merge into the consciousness. Merge into the bliss. Merge into this. Now observe the feeling. And observe the part of you observing the feeling. Observe the observer observing. Turn your awareness around 180 degrees and look at that which is looking. Become aware of your own awareness. Just become conscious of the consciousness that you are. Thou art this. Realize this. All right. You are protected and guided by the divine in all your activities, day and night, in all places. May you all enjoy good health, long life, prosperity, happiness, and peace to you and your family and friends. May the whole world live in happiness and peace. Prosperity, happiness, and peace. No more wars. Let's just visualize it. A world where people loved each other. No more security checks. No more rapes and molestations. No more trying to cheat. Nobody's so overwhelmed with having to get a lot of money or material things. Everyone's got a job. Everyone's got something they can do. Everyone's got a place to live, decent to eat, someone that loves them. We can all care about each other. We can put more attention on what brings joy and love and peace into the world and share it with each other. There's more than enough resources in this world. What we need is an awakened consciousness. Too few people control everything and are hurting the world. So let's send love to all those that need enlightenment without judging them or ourselves or anyone else. We just send love. Just be compassionate for all those people in this world that don't know any better. And then let us show compassion to ourselves and allow ourselves to be loved so that we can share this love with everyone we see, everywhere we go, all the time, every day. God bless you.